is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Breaking overnight, a fire at a group home sends its residents scurrying for safety. We'll show you what we know so far about this North Side fire. A major stretch of interstate is closing for construction. We'll have a live report coming up that's breaking down what's being worked on, the reason for it, and how you can get around this over the weekend. But first, 5 o'clock here on your Friday. We made it all the way through the work week. Thanks for joining us. I'm Lauren Casey. Todd Clausen is with me. The other two left us. They're already enjoying their weekend.
It's a Friday in summer. The parking lot's always a little more empty this time of year on Fridays.
And we have a great day ahead.
It is. It's a great day. If you could take off like Meredith and Elaine, I'd encourage you to do so, as long as you don't get yourself in trouble, of course, because it is going to be a near perfect day for us. And really, we're going to carry the nice weather into the weekend as well. The humidity is going to come up over the weekend, as well as the temperatures. Today's probably the coolest day, but nonetheless, it's a good summer weekend for us once again. Sunglasses needed from start to finish here throughout the day today. You didn't need to worry about the umbrella whatsoever, and have plenty of water here once again to stay hydrated, even with these cooler temperatures. They'll warm very quickly today, so you could become dehydrated if you're outside for an extended period of time. 56 right now in Crawfordsville, our cool spot. 60 in Greencastle and Peru, holding on to a pair of 60s still in Indianapolis, with skies that are clear. Can't see a whole lot with our tower camera as of yet, but once the sun does start to come up over the horizon, we will have a cloud-free sky for you here in central Indiana this morning, and we'll carry that really all the way throughout the day. We'll just build in some fair weather clouds as we get into the afternoon hours. Your temperature by the noon hours, 78 degrees. Take that lunch outdoors with high temperatures eventually this afternoon, getting up to right around 84 degrees.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. We are keeping a close eye on your roads this morning. You can see the interstates are clear all around central Indiana. We are monitoring, though, some closures that are going to go into effect tonight, and our Aaron Lish is going to break down those for you coming up in just a few minutes. But first, we do want to start with two breaking stories from overnight that we're following here at RTV6. First, up here on the north side, a fire damaging a group home, forcing 9 women out. This all started around 1 o'clock this morning at a home near 34th and Keystone. Investigators tell us that the fire was contained to one room. The women were able to get out okay, and they've been taken to other facilities. Firefighters are still looking into what caused this fire. And then over to the east side of Indianapolis, one person is recovering after a shooting. Metro Police tell us this happened around 12:30 this morning, just south of East Washington and Arlington Avenue. Police say that the victim may have been shot somewhere else and then rode his scooter to where police found him. So far, police haven't given a description of a possible suspect. Well, this morning, we are working to find out some more information about these two brothers. They're from Fishers, and they're accused of trying to provide weapons and support for ISIS. A federal grand jury unsealed an indictment against the brothers on Thursday. Moya Dannon and Mahdi Dannon are charged with trying to manufacture machine guns with the plan to ship them overseas to terrorist fighters. Those brothers had been under investigation for months, and prosecutors say they did not know they were dealing with a witness who was working for the FBI, as well as undercover agents. Special agent in charge Grant Mendenhall with the FBI in Indianapolis said this, quote, "This case is the first of its kind for the Federal Bureau investigation, where you have individuals allegedly making guns to sell and or send overseas to ISIS. This indictment paints a vivid picture of the rapid rise of homegrown violent extremism," end quote. We can tell you those brothers are being held without bond. Well, there is a big headache coming for drivers near downtown as a major road closure is going to go into effect tonight. It's on I-65. Working for you this morning, our own Aaron Lish joining us live with the southbound shutdown and how long this is going to last. Aaron, this is impacting me. What do we need to know?
Well, it's going to impact a lot of people. Definitely a big pain for drivers, as a major part of I-65 will be shut down starting at 7 o'clock tonight. So all lanes going southbound on I-65 from the south split to I-465 will be closed. And as you remember, we had a lot of rain in May and June, and that caused delays for crews. So they have to come out here to finish up the road work. In your driving map apps, they might not have this in yet. So you are encouraged to take I-70 westbound to I-465 I-65 eastbound back to I-65 southbound during this closure. And this will last, according to officials, for almost 10 days, since all lanes are expected to be reopened by July 22nd at 3 p.m. And also I-65 southbound from I-865 over to I-465 will also be closed for the next 17 days. Lauren?
Thank you for that update. A major pain for drivers, but we're going to get through it and keep you updated. Well, only here on RTV6, a service relied on by hundreds of seniors needs your help. A van that looks just like this one on your screen was stolen as a driver for Johnson County Senior Services helped a patient get to her life-saving cancer treatment. Well, the van was at St. Vincent Hospital dropping off that patient for the treatment. The driver left the key in the van, says she was only gone about a minute, but when she came back outside, the van was gone. Senior Services managed to stay on schedule with the other vehicles helping other seniors, but the organization says it is vital that they get this special van back.
You can't miss. It's a non-negotiable for these folks, and they have no other option. We are their only viable option.
How could you be so thoughtless?
It's heart-wrenching that they are the most underserved, underfunded, underappreciated demographic in our entire county. It's just not okay.
Well, the stolen van is a 2017 wheelchair-accessible white Dodge Caravan with blue municipal plate. The plate number is 54394. So if you see this vehicle, get in touch with the police right away. We do have a description of the stolen van and more information for you right at theindychannel.com. At 5:06, we're working to get answers for a family who says they've been visiting their loved ones at a cemetery for decades, and the grounds have never looked so bad. RTV6 went out to Forest Hill Cemetery in Shelbyville today, saw the graves covered in weeds and dead and damaged trees. 14 of Jody Longstreet's family members are buried there.
I've been coming here for 22 plus years, and it has never looked like this. You know, some people come out here and talk to their loved ones, and I want to be able to do that. I don't want to complain every time I come out here.
RTV6 took these concerns to the cemetery board. The president of the board says that crews are working hard to clean up the area, but that it's been difficult with all the rain. Some drivers up in Carmel tell us that tall plants are making it dangerous to drive around some of those roundabouts. Drivers say the greenery in the middle of the roundabouts makes it hard to see, especially for shorter people or people in smaller cars. There are also concerns that plants make it more difficult for people who are not used to navigating roundabouts.
So they don't even know what they're doing in the first place on a roundabout. So this just, and if they can't see the cars around them, this could make it more difficult for them to even maneuver the roundabout.
Either traffic has to enter the roundabout blind, not being able to see to their direct left, or they have to come to a complete stop and then creep up to see around the tall grass planted at the entrance.
Well, we spoke to the city about this, and a spokesperson tells us the structure and landscaping in the middle of the roundabout and on the medians are meant to keep the focus of the drivers to the left when they get to the roundabout. The city also says the crews check the line of sight often. At 5:08 this morning, the ACLU of Indiana is asking prosecutors to reconsider flag desecration charges against two 18-year-olds who are accused of burning a flag in Fishers on the 4th of July. George Drake and Christopher Graham each face 4 felony counts of arson, along with misdemeanors for criminal mischief and flag desecration. They are accused of burning the American flag displayed at the Nickel Plate District Amphitheater on July 4th. The ACLU is reminding lawmakers about a 1989 case from Texas. That's when the Supreme Court ruled that the defendant who burned an American flag during a protest was protected by the First Amendment. The ACLU believes that the decision could protect the men in Fishers from being charged for flag desecration. Well, Grace Apostolic Church on 22nd Street near College hosted the annual ecumenical service this evening. During the service, Dr. Kenneth Sullivan, the pastor of New Direction Church, praised Indianapolis.
I hear a whole lot of people talking about I'm going to leave Indianapolis. I'm going to leave Indiana. If you can't make it here, you can't make it nowhere. I believe God has blessed you in this city.
Summer celebration runs through July 21st. It includes free business conference, the Youth Summit, a film festival, and 2 big concerts. The free concert is next Friday outdoors at the American Legion Mall. There's a second concert at Bankers Life Fieldhouse next Saturday, July 20th. It is 5:09 here on your Friday. Let's check in with Todd in today's forecast.
And it's a great Friday forecast for us here, Lauren. As you make your way out the door this morning, it is nice and comfortable anywhere you are across central Indiana. The skies are clear. The temperatures are in the 60s and will warm nice and quickly here again throughout the course of the morning once the sun comes up. But until then, our temperatures are going to be staying here in the 50s and 60s. So skies are completely clear statewide. It's no matter where you're watching here this morning, you are in great shape as we have no issues whatsoever. Your lunch hour, 77 degrees, mostly sunny skies. I've highlighted go out here. Go outside, whether you bring your lunch or you're heading to a patio to eat your lunch. You should be in tip-top shape. And then eventually high temperatures today will be topping off in the low to mid 80s. The humidity remains low. The winds are light. Again, it's a near perfect July day for us. We'll talk more about your weekend coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Todd, thank you. More criminal charges for R. Kelly. Next on Good Morning Indiana, how the federal government is now going after the singer who already faces numerous sex crime charges in Chicago. And the president loses the fight over including a citizenship question on the census. We'll show you why he backed down and what his administration's next steps will be. It is 5:10 on your Friday morning. We'll be right back after the break.
Weekdays at 9 on RTV6.
All right, welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. 5:13 on your Friday. We're keeping a close eye on traffic as you're heading out the door to get to work this morning. Here's a live look to our north, I-65 at 21st Street, where traffic is moving smoothly. But you'll want to pay attention because this weekend we have several closures all around Indianapolis. We're going to keep you updated coming up in just a few minutes. Now to some breaking news from overnight. More sex crime charges against R&B singer R. Kelly. Kelly was arrested last night in Chicago on charges brought by federal government. Kelly faces a 13-count indictment in the Northern District of Illinois. He's also charged with sex trafficking in New York, trying to influence a case in Atlanta, Georgia, and also a child pornography charge. Kelly was out on bond and awaiting trial on charges in Chicago of criminal sexual abuse involving at least 4 women, 3 of whom prosecutors say were underage. President Trump backing down, conceding defeat in a fight over adding a citizenship question to the 2020 census. Instead, the president issued an executive order requiring every federal agency to turn over information about the U.S. population. Reports had indicated that Trump and his allies were thinking about defying multiple court orders, including one from the Supreme Court, to leave the citizenship question off the census. That's because the Constitution requires a count of all persons, not necessarily all citizens. The president says they'll get the data anyways, and the opponents say they will continue to fight.
We will defend the right of the American people to know the full facts about the population.
This is like the bully that talks as loudly as he can to try and give an impression that he's tough. And it's nothing. You know, he's weak.
Well, the case for the citizenship question grew weaker after the discovery of internal documents from deceased Republican operative Thomas Hoffeller. He had argued that adding a citizenship question to the census would help Republicans draw more gerrymandered districts and limit the voting power of people of color. At 5:15, a high-ranking Chicago police commander is being investigated after leading Indiana State Police on a high-speed chase last month. Detective Commander Ed Wodnicki is a 30-year veteran of the Chicago Police Department and was also the head of the Jesse Smollett investigation. Well, last month, Wodnicki was caught speeding on I-94 near Chesterton, Indiana, and when a state trooper tried to pull him over, he didn't stop.
A white male driver, and he is not stopping. He's on his cell phone. I don't know why he would be running blue lights in Indiana.
Troopers say Wodnicki's car reached speeds of 114 miles an hour, and he only stopped after officers put stop sticks on the highway. Wodnicki told Indiana troopers that he came to Indiana to buy ammunition and was speeding back to Chicago for police duty, though there's no evidence of a police call. He was given a ticket for speeding and released, but now Wodnicki has been reassigned while Chicago police conduct an internal investigation. At 5:16, you're going to have to find a new store to get the earrings and bracelets to match your dresses and shoes. Charming Charlie plans to close all 261 locations after filing for bankruptcy for the second time in just 2 years. The accessory shop is known for its wide selection of colors and styles. There are Charming Charlie stores at the Greenwood Park Mall, Clay Terrace, and also the Hamilton Town Center. At 5:17, we want to toss things over to our Todd Clausen for a look at today's forecast, and it's good news for a Friday.
Yeah, look at that view. Take a look to the north. As you see, there is, actually looking to the south past Lucas Oil Stadium. There, didn't see that at first, but the skies are completely clear. You can see all the lights sparkling. You don't see the haze whatsoever, which is all the humidity around. And the humidity, we kicked that to the curb on Thursday, and yesterday was a beautiful day, and today's even going to be better as it's going to be a little bit cooler. Yesterday, we still got up to 88 degrees and virtually no humidity at all. 66 degrees, that's the current temperature right now. Wind out of the north at 10 miles per hour. So it's not so much the wind speed at 10 miles per hour, but it's the wind direction. That north wind's a cooler wind, it's a drier wind, and that's what's helping to keep the humidity down for us here across the area today. 57 in Crawfordsville right now. You're a cool spot. You've been all morning long. 64 as you make your way from Bloomington over towards Greensburg, and 60 degrees right now in Tipton and Peru. So today, really all we have to talk about is temperatures, because the skies are going to be sunny throughout the entire day. That is not going to change at all. 77 degrees by your noon hour. We're up to 81 degrees by 2 p.m. And then high temperatures eventually this afternoon will be topping off right around 84 degrees. So anything you want to do outdoors today, I'll give you the 2 thumbs up. You are good to go. And then this evening, we're going to carry the nice weather into the picture as well. So skies are clear. I know you see a few returns there coming up near Lafayette. Those are just some false returns on radar. There is no precipitation out there because we don't have any clouds out there. That's the good news. You look back off to the west, and the skies there are clear as well. And we'll expand out even a little bit further. If you're heading to the East Coast, there's a front moving through. Could be some minor delays here this morning, but those should be offshore pretty quickly, the showers and storms. So tonight, Symphony on the Prairie, medley of the Broadway hits. It should be beautiful up there. If you want to take your picnic lunch and dinner to the lawn, have a few drinks as well under the stars as the music plays. 83 degrees at 6 p.m. and then falling down into the 70s. So it does cool off pretty quickly. So without the sunshine, you may want to have a little bit of a light jacket this evening once the sun sets. And then overnight tonight, temperatures go back down into the 50s and 60s. So your weekend gets off to a comfortable start tomorrow. Temperatures very similar to what we have outside right now, but we warm up a little more tomorrow. We get up to 90 degrees. The humidity comes up a little bit. You'll notice it. It's not super oppressive, but Sunday's the day that the humidity is a lot higher, and because of that, we'll have to throw in the chance of maybe about a 20% chance of an isolated storm on Monday. Then as we work our way into Tuesday and Wednesday, I have a few thunderstorms in the forecast as well, and that will be dependent on the exact track of Tropical Storm Barry. Lauren?
All right, Todd, thank you so much. We're keeping a close eye on traffic this morning, and everything's moving along up to speed here in the downtown area. This is I-65 at the North Split. Just a heads up, as you're heading into the weekend, we will have some closures along I-65. The southbound lanes are actually going to be all closed from the North Split to the South Split. That closure begins Friday. That's today at 9 p.m. It's going to open back up on July 15th at 6 a.m. So you'll have several detours that you can take in that area. And also a heads up, we have the Indy Crit downtown this weekend, so several local streets are going to be closed, so just plan ahead if you're heading through the downtown area. Well, another tough outing for the Pacers Summer League team. Aaron Holiday scoring 23 points, so the Pacers fell to the Raptors on Thursday, 94-79. It's their 4th straight loss in Las Vegas. They'll wrap up the Summer League play tonight, taking on the LA Clippers in the consolation round, rather. Well, the show has taken you on a wild ride, but soon it's going to be time to say goodbye. We'll show you which ABC drama will be wrapping up after this coming season. And wrapping of another kind, Cardi B is clapping back at another big name in hip-hop, and it's all because he had some not-so-nice things to say about a frequent topic of her songs. What Cardi had to say and her response is coming up right here on Good Morning Indiana. Stick around.
It's closer than you think. Visit WyndhamHotels.com.
It is 5:24 on your Friday. Here's a live look at traffic to our north. I-465 here at Ditch Road. You can see it's picking up both eastbound and westbound, but still traveling about up to speed. We're going to keep an eye on this area and keep you updated throughout the morning.
Oh my God, the FBI. They know everything.
A TGIT staple saying goodbye. ABC has announced the 6th season of How to Get Away with Murder will be the last. You can watch how it all ends, starting with the season premiere on September 26th. It's only here on RTV6. Well, the topics of rap songs have been debated since the birth of hip-hop more than 4 decades ago. But today, what women rappers talk about is getting some attention. It's because of something said by another big name in the game. Rapper and record producer Jermaine Dupri told People magazine that Cardi B and other newer female rappers seem to only talk about their sex lives in songs lately. Well, you knew Cardi wasn't going to be happy about that, so she responded with a video on social media saying, yeah, that's somewhat true, but there's a reason.
It seems like that's what people want to hear. I ain't even gonna front, because let me tell you something. When I did Be Careful, people was talking mad in the beginning, like, what the this is not what I expected. I expected this, I expected that. So it's like, if that's what people ain't trying to hear, then all right, then I'm gonna start rapping about again.
Well, Cardi went on to chastise Dupri and others for not supporting other female rappers who rap about topics other than what Cardi likes to talk about. And Todd and I don't know anything about this because we are not Cardi B fans, but Elena is, and she's not here today.
Elena's
so
not
we
here
have
to fill us in about it.
No thoughts on that. We'll just stick to rock and roll and country music.
Every other word coming out of her mouth there because of all the beeps.
Yeah.
So. All right, outside right now, there's no beeping out the weather. We want to enjoy it today. It's going to be sunny from start to finish. The humidity is going to be low. A near perfect day, to be honest with you. 84 with low humidity. Tomorrow, the heat returns up to 90 degrees. Mostly sunny. Humidity comes up a smidge tomorrow. You'll notice the difference, but not super oppressive. And then it's more humid as we head into Sunday, up to 91 with a stray storm in the afternoon. And then we'll keep it warm and muggy heading throughout much of next week with watching the tropics. That's what's going to be the remnants of Barry. Could bring us some showers and storms Tuesday into Wednesday.
All right, Todd, thank you. A woman and 2 children missing this morning. Coming up, what we know about their disappearance and how you might be able to help in this search. Plus, 2 brothers thought they were working with ISIS, but federal prosecutors say they were actually caught in a sting. We'll show you how authorities caught up with these young men whom they say were trying to give help to terrorists. The time right now is 5:27 on your Friday. We'll be back after the break.
RTV6 is working for you. This is breaking news from RTV6, working for you.
It's 5:30. Thanks for watching. Good morning, Indiana. I'm Lauren Casey. Meredith Barrick has the morning off. Now, we're following a couple of breaking stories for you as you start your Friday. We do want to start on the city's north side. That's where 9 women living in a group home are being forced to find shelter elsewhere, all because of a fire. This fire started around 1 o'clock this morning at a home located near 34th and Keystone Avenue. We're told the fire was contained to one room. It caused about $70,000 worth of damage. The women were able to get out okay, and they have been taken to other facilities. Firefighters have not said yet what started this fire. Now to more breaking news, this time on the city's east side. That's where one person is recovering from a shooting. This scene all unfolded around 12:30 just south of East Washington and Arlington Avenue. Authorities say the victim may have been shot somewhere else and then rode his scooter to where police found him. Police have not released any information on a search for a suspect at this time. That victim is expected to survive. But we do want to get a check of your Storm Team 6 forecast as we're getting ready to head into the weekend. And today, Todd, it feels like a great day just stepping outside. You can tell the humidity is down. It's not very sticky.
Yeah, as soon as you walk out the door, you're like, it feels good. It's comfortable. You don't walk out into that wall of humidity or moisture that we have out there, and that is certainly good news. So this morning's checklist requires that grab the sunglasses. You do not need the jacket or the umbrella. Your outdoor workout is good to go this morning, and honestly, throughout the entire day, your workout's in good shape. It'll warm up, obviously, but we don't have to deal with the humidity or any real high temperatures. Look at the 50s this morning in Greencastle and Crawfordsville, down to 57 degrees in Crawfordsville right now, 62 in Richmond, 59 now showing up in Tipton as well. So it's one of the cooler mornings we've seen. Doesn't come around too often this time of year, so enjoy it. The skies are completely clear this morning with the sunshine. Temperatures will quickly warm through the 60s into the 70s, about 78 degrees by the time we get to the noon hour for your lunch. And then as we transition into the afternoon, more of the same. Low humidity, lots of sunshine, and high temperatures eventually lowering the top off at 84 degrees.
All right, Todd, thank you. And as we're heading into the weekend, we're also going right into some road closures. Parts of I-65 are going to be shut down. It starts tonight, lasts for at least a week. And so our Aaron Lish joining us live this morning. Aaron, there are some major sections of interstate that are being impacted by this project.
Absolutely. The biggest one that we're looking at is I-65 southbound, which is starting at 7 o'clock tonight. So all lanes from the south split over to I-465 on I-65 southbound will be shut down. It's expected to last for the next 10 days, and that section should open back up on July 22nd around 3 p.m. And this is how you get around it. Take I-70 westbound to I-465 eastbound, back to I-65 southbound. And along with this closure, there's another one that we want to mention. That is I-65 southbound between I-865 and I-465. That's going to close a couple hours later tonight at 9 p.m. And then that should last around 17 days. So you won't be really impacted this morning, but maybe later on tonight you're going out, you might run into some of those closures. And the big reason for this is we had all this rain in June and May, and that caused some delays for crews. They are getting back out here to finish all of that work up. We'll send it back to you in the studio, Lauren.
Aaron, thank you for that update. Time right now is 5:33. Two brothers are facing charges this morning after federal officials say that they tried to provide guns to the Islamic State. The Justice Department says 21-year-old Moyad Danan and 20-year-old Mahdi Danan sold several illegally obtained firearms to undercover FBI agents. The brothers also began to make untraceable ghost guns. Officials say the brothers actually purchased unmarked firearm parts online and then turned them into .223 caliber semi-automatic rifles. The brothers then reportedly sold the guns to an undercover FBI agent. Neighbors say they didn't know what to think when the FBI showed up.
When we first saw it, we thought it was like a military drill or something like that. There was about 30 FBI agents that came up through this entrance here and drove right up into the yard and batter rammed the door down, and we really didn't know what to think at the time.
Well, the head of the FBI's Indianapolis division calls this operation unprecedented, saying, quote, "This case is the first of its kind for the Federal Bureau of Investigation, where you have individuals allegedly making guns to sell and or send overseas to ISIS. This indictment paints a vivid picture of the rapid rise of homegrown violent extremism and the lengths that people are willing to go in their support of terrorist activity," end quote. Well, Danan brothers are being held right now in jail without bond. If convicted, they could face 10 years in prison on each of the firearms charges and 20 years in prison for trying to provide material support to ISIS. We have much more on this story right now in the RTV6 News app. At 5:35 this morning, we now know how an Indianapolis man died more than a month after his body was found stuffed in a suitcase. The Marion County coroner says 56-year-old Larry Terry was strangled. People fishing along a creek near Raymond and Keystone on the southeast side found that suitcase back in May. Relatives actually reported Terry missing in March. If you have any information that could help with this investigation, please call Crime Stoppers. A Sullivan County man is facing kidnapping charges and aggravated battery charges this morning. Police arrested 29-year-old Michael Scott of Shelburne after he reportedly abducted a 28-year-old man from his home. Scott reportedly forced the victim into the trunk of his car, took him to a rural area, and then beat him with a hatchet. The victim is in an Indianapolis hospital this morning. Police also learned there was a woman in the car with Scott during this incident. They do not believe she was a willing participant in the crime. This morning, Michael Scott facing a number of charges, including battery with a deadly weapon. In Democracy 2020 news, presidential candidate Pete Buttigieg unveiling new aspects of his plan for racial justice. The South Bend mayor says that he hopes this policy proposal will help heal racial divides. Buttigieg first announced his Douglas plan in an op-ed for the Charleston Chronicle last month. It was named for abolitionist Frederick Douglass. Buttigieg says that it seeks to combat racial inequality by focusing federal attention on a variety of factors, including criminal justice reform.
Often more incarceration is associated with more crime. There are a lot of cases around the country where the incarceration is doing more harm than the original offense. Not just that, but some of these harms are generational.
Buttigieg's plan would also focus on health care, education, entrepreneurship, and voting rights. Another Democrat has thrown her name into the ring to potentially fill the congressional seat being vacated by Republican Representative Susan Brooks. Former state representative Christina Hale is a Democrat who has served as an executive at a nonprofit agency since she left the legislature in 2016. Hale is the third Democrat to announce a run for the congressional district that includes the north side of Indy, Carmel, Fishers, Anderson, and also a part of Kokomo. Also in the race is Dee Thornton, who lost to Brooks in last year's general election, and Jennifer Christie, who lost to Thornton in last year's Democratic primary. At 5:37, Department of Public Works officials say that they care about your neighborhood streets. City leaders are putting a spotlight on a crew focused solely on residential and neighborhood streets. The city created this street maintenance team late last year. They repair streets that may not be addressed by private contractors under the Department of Public Works plan. On Thursday, the crew demonstrated its work on Laurel Hill Drive, that's near 56th Street and Emerson Way on the city's northeast side.
This new strategy opens our city's pavement rehabilitation work on two fronts, both large projects that affect thousands and smaller streets like this one, which may serve 100 or so cars daily.
So far this year, the street maintenance team has fixed roads in 21 areas here across Indianapolis. It is 5:38 here on our Friday. We do want to check in with Todd as we're getting ready to head into the weekend. Todd, we know there's construction that's going to be worked on all weekend long. Are they going to be dry?
Yeah, they'll be fine here. There's only a small chance on Sunday of a stray storm popping up, and that is because we hardly have a cloud in the sky today, so you can't have any rain if you don't have any clouds, so that is certainly good news. And as we go into Sunday, we'll have to take this needle on the humidity scale and probably push it a little into the very muggy category, but today, just great. We don't have to move that needle at all. It's one of those days where the humidity is low. You'll look up in the sky and it's going to be bright blue. You don't have that haze that you have to deal with. And with that sunshine and the light wind out of the north, our temperatures will warm nicely up to 78 degrees today for your noontime temperature. By 4 p.m., we're looking at a temperature of 84. That should be your high for the day today with the sunshine. Now, going forward in this forecast, we start to heat things back up. Both Saturday and Sunday, high temperatures are right around 90 degrees. In fact, Sunday could get up to about 92, maybe 93. And then we'll see our temperatures dip a little bit as we head into the middle of next week. That's because we have more in the way of clouds and better rain chances, and that has to deal with Tropical Storm Barry. We'll talk more about your weekend forecast and Barry and Maine weather in just a few minutes.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. All eyes on the tropics this morning as Tropical Storm Barry inches closer to making landfall along the Gulf Coast. Just after the break, how residents there are preparing ahead of that storm. Plus, another child dies after being left in a hot car. New this morning, the charges that the parent now faces. At 5:40, we're keeping a close eye on your roads this morning. Here's a look on the south side. 465 at State Road 37, the Harding Street exit. Traffic there traveling smoothly, both eastbound and westbound on your Friday. We'll keep you updated on the other side of the break. Stay with us. It is 5:43 on your Friday. The Las Vegas Police Department has released a new report about the October 2017 shooting from the Mandalay Bay Casino. 58 people were killed there and more than 850 concertgoers were injured in the deadliest mass shooting in modern U.S. history. The 158-page report doesn't draw any conclusions about the motive for that attack. Instead, it examines the department's responses and looks at the challenges that arose from personal equipment and agency procedures. The report is based on hundreds of officer reports and interviews and thousands of dispatch calls and also body camera video. New from overnight, a 3-year-old boy has died after being left in a hot car near Nashville, Tennessee. Officials there say the boy that was found inside of the hot car near Smyrna, the first responders there tried to save the child, but they were not successful. Officials say that the boy was in that car for about 2 hours. This morning, the boy's father is facing aggravated child abuse and neglect charges. Well, that latest death comes just days after a 3-year-old Oliver Dill died in a hot car down in Evansville. The boy's father says he forgot to drop the toddler off at the University of Southern Indiana Child Care Center. No charges have been filed in this case. The National Safety Council says that 19 children have died in hot cars so far this year. And a Noblesville mom facing charges this morning after leaving her toddlers in a vehicle. This incident happened at the Walmart on Clove Road at about 1:30 yesterday afternoon. Officers found the children ages 2 and 4 strapped into their car seats with no adults around. Authorities say the windows on the vehicle were rolled down about 6 inches, but the vehicle was not running. The mother faces 2 charges of neglect of a dependent. At 5:45 here, we are monitoring Tropical Storm Barry as it's churning towards the Gulf Coast this morning. That storm could become a hurricane before making landfall this weekend. As ABC's Trevor Alt reports, officials have ordered evacuations in some areas and have also declared a state of emergency.
This morning, the Gulf is bracing, with Tropical Storm Barry bearing down and threatening to become a hurricane by the weekend. Thousands now scrambling to sandbag and evacuate.
We'll take 3 days of clothing, because that's the routine. This area right here, we always got to evacuate.
As much as 20 inches of rain on the way to parts of Louisiana, as the state is already battling unprecedented flooding. The Mississippi River is higher than it's ever been, with a storm this size approaching and a torrent of hurricane rainfall threatening to overtop the 20-foot-high levees protecting New Orleans, just days after previous storms flooded the city streets, and with many still weary from Hurricane Katrina.
We're confident that we are not going to have a duplicate of Katrina. However, if you have a storm that has elevations much higher than those flood walls, you're going to get water in the city.
New Orleans mayor telling residents not to evacuate, but to have a plan. And Louisiana's governor, John Bel Edwards, taking action ahead of time, activating 3,000 National Guardsmen and deploying disaster response resources while requesting extra federal emergency funds.
This is going to be a major weather event for a huge portion of the state of Louisiana.
On top of being a powerful storm, Barry is also slow moving, possibly bringing 48 hours of heavy rainfall beginning Friday night and not letting up until late Sunday. Forecasts show once Barry makes landfall, it's expected to move north through the weekend, drenching Louisiana, but also hitting parts of Texas and Mississippi too. Trevor Ault, ABC News, Washington.
All right, the time now is 5:47. We'll take a look at Tropical Storm Barry. This is the latest satellite radar image, and you can see some of those bands of rain making their way onshore now in southern locations there along the Gulf Coast, and all this is going to wrap around as the storm is slowly going to move to the north. And as Trevor mentioned, it's a slow mover, and that's the biggest issue. So it'll be basically a strong tropical storm, weak hurricane as it makes landfall, most likely early Saturday morning, and then the track is going to take it right up here towards central Indiana as we work our way into Tuesday evening and Wednesday morning. So a lot of times these will pick up a little speed if a front picks them up. So we'll have to throw some thunderstorms into the forecast. It looks like Tuesday into Wednesday. But again, that's a long ways off. That track could change just a little bit. So the tail end of my 7-day planning forecast may be a little fluid here going over the next few days. The view from downtown to the north, how beautiful is this right now at 5:48 this morning? There is not a cloud in the sky. You don't have that haze. You don't have the humidity. Just a fabulous look here from the Salesforce Tower. 66 degrees is the current temperature. Light wind out of the north at 10 miles per hour. It's that northerly wind that's helping to keep the humidity down, and it also keep our temperatures from climbing into the 90s. If we didn't have that north wind today, we probably easily would get up to about 90 degrees because without the humidity, the air will warm up very, very quickly. So temperatures this morning are in the 50s in Greencastle, Tipton, Crawfordsville, right at 60 degrees in Peru. 61 is the current temperature in Richmond. So those temperatures, again, will be in the 70s and eventually the 80s by the time we get to the afternoon hour. Your lunch hour looks terrific. Food Truck Friday on Georgia Street. Can't ask for better weather for that today. And then 82 degrees as we work our way into the 6 o'clock hour with mostly sunny skies. So really don't have to talk about heat index values today or even tomorrow. So tomorrow's a little bit warmer than today, but the humidity doesn't really come way up, so there's not much in the way of a heat index. Then as we work our way into next week, we're still in that category where it's warm, but we're not getting into those extreme dangerous heat index values like we had during the day on Wednesday. So high pressure is in control. You see there's nothing off to our west. That high, as it slides off towards the east, will allow some warmer temperatures to start to work their way northward, though, as we head into the coming days. This evening, tip-top shape for a Friday night. 9:14 is sunset. Temperatures will fall back down into the 70s later on this evening. Then tomorrow morning, you'll wake up to temperatures that are in the 60s, maybe a few 50s out there, so just slightly warmer than today. And then as we work our way throughout the rest of Saturday, we are looking at sunny skies and temperatures that'll be topping off close to 90 degrees. Heading into Sunday, it's slightly warmer at 91, a little more humid, and as a result, we throw in the chance of an isolated storm or two. And then we keep it around 90 degrees all the way through much of next week, again with watching the tropics there for Tuesday and Wednesday. Lauren. Lauren.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. We do want to take a look at a traffic alert for you right now on the south side of town. You can see some slowdowns here on the left side of your screen. That's the northbound lanes of I-65 here near Southport Road. Now, if you look closely, you can see we have all 3 left lanes blocked for construction. This has been going on since the overnight hours, and now that rush hour is going to start picking up, you can expect a few delays in that area. It's moving pretty slowly down to about, looks like 10 miles an hour or so. So plan ahead. You can take US 31 as a detour if you're heading in from the south side. But let's take a turn right now and go to the north side. A live look from our NDOT traffic camera, I-465 and Michigan Road. You can see traffic in that area is moving along about up to speed. We'll continue to monitor things and keep you updated on those delays. At 5:51, a Georgia mom orders her adult child a birthday cake. It's just ahead in our Trending 6. We'll tell you why this cake is not what she expected. And get ready for some high-flying action right here in Indianapolis. Ahead at 6:30, we have your chance to win tickets to see Cirque du Soleil live right here in the Circle City. We'll be right back. Before you head out the door today, it is time for our Trending 6. And these are some of the stories that everyone's sharing online today that you're going to want to know about. When guests go to one Turkish art teacher's home for coffee, they have a big choice to make. Which cup should they use? The art teacher has almost 1,000 coffee cups. It all started innocently enough as about a dozen years ago when a relative gave her an antique cup as a gift. She started collecting them, and the collection grew quickly. Some of the cups are nearly 100 years old. Look at that. Well, a letter from Tupac written to Madonna will be auctioned off again. That letter was written back in 1995 while Tupac was in prison. The letter was acquired by Gotta Have It Rock and Roll and originally put up for auction in the year 2017, but Madonna filed an emergency court order and it blocked the sale. The Manhattan Supreme Court says that the letter belongs to the auction company. A Michigan woman is in jail after taking a wild joyride in a stolen police cruiser. The police officer parked his SUV while responding to a call, and that's when the 24-year-old woman jumped into the vehicle and took off. Well, she led police on a chase topping 100 miles per hour, even heading the wrong way into traffic. And when it all ended, she crashed into another SUV. According to police, the woman said she, quote, just wanted to have some fun. Well, we're getting a first-hand look at a Delta flight making an emergency landing in North Carolina. A passenger recorded this video of a flight attendant trying to calm down the passengers. Nearly 150 passengers were on board heading from Atlanta to Baltimore when one of the plane's engines started to have a problem. The plane landed safely and the passengers were booked on alternate flights, and we can tell you no injuries were reported. A Georgia Dairy Queen making a bit of a mistake here on this birthday cake, and it had the recipient in stitches. This is the cake that Kensley Davis got for her 25th birthday. Well, this isn't the Moana cake that she expected. The restaurant offered to make a new cake, but Davis's mom says the first one was so good and hilarious, she didn't even take them up on it. Not what she expected. Well, state leaders in Vermont are getting a big surprise around the Capitol this week. Take a look at that. Police in Montpelier finding marijuana plants growing in the flower beds on the State House grounds. Officials there say that they found 34 plants, removed them. The police chief says the plants are not part of the state's horticulture plan. He also says this isn't the first time they found pot growing on the Capitol flower beds, and it probably won't be the last. All right, here at 5:56, I want to check in with Todd Clausen. Todd, as people step outside today, they'll probably notice that humidity is low, and it's a pleasant surprise.
Yeah, the humidity is down, and it stays down throughout the entire day, Lauren. That is the good news. A beautiful sunrise taking place. 59 right now in Logansport, 63 in Indianapolis. It's the start of what's a terrific day with sunny skies, low humidity. We're going up to 84 degrees. Try to enjoy it at some point here throughout the day today. The time now is 5:57. Stay with us. We'll be right back.